The Imperial Stormtroopers dominated the galaxy for nearly 2 decades before they were opposed by what were referred to first as rebels, a ragtag group of individuals in the galaxy that did not agree with the philosophy and rule of the Empire. A small threat at first, but one that would grow to be substantial enough to topple the Empire itself. The Stormtroopers were originally clone troopers that had served during the Clone Wars era under the Galactic Republic, but after Emperor Palpatine took over, he discontinued clone troopers entirely and introduced a new force in the galaxy he referred to as the Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers that were nearly entirely made out of natural birthed individuals. Again, the Imperials and the Stormtroopers, being their army, were the most dominant force in the entire galaxy for 2 decades. But after their time of reign, the Galactic Civil War began, a war that would eventually result in the deaths of both Vader, the Imperial Enforcer, and their own Emperor, Darth Sidious. But this is not the end of the story of the Stormtroopers in Star Wars canon, and today we will explain what happened to the Stormtroopers after the Battle of Endor and after Return of the Jedi, and the tragic fate that many of them met, as some refused to put away their armor, and others were killed in the ensuing battles of the war, and only a small fraction of them actually surviving and fleeing into the unknown region. After the events on Endor, the Empire went into utter disarray, and the Stormtroopers saw action on many fronts, mobilized by the new leaders of the Empire, as they battled the New Republic, the successor government to the Rebel Alliance. During this period, though, fragments of the former regime gained footholds on very distant worlds, and numerous Stormtroopers were killed and executed by the New Republic on worlds as far out as Utur Nalol and Akirva. New Republic forces also took many Stormtrooper prisoners, with many prisoners being sent to the New Republic capital of Chandrila. On one occasion, the New Republic relations official personally stopped New Republic soldiers from parading Stormtrooper prisoners through the city of Hana to disgrace the individuals who had fought for the Empire once proudly before, and show them that there was a new dominant force in the galaxy and that the Empire was officially crumbling. Later, Stormtroopers saw action during the liberation of Kashyyyk as well as the final battle of Jakku, the Empire's last stand against the New Republic. Following the defeat of the Empire at Jakku, the remnants of the Empire signed the Galactic Concordance with the New Republic. The Galactic Concordance forbade the recruitment and mobilization of Stormtrooper forces and forced the Empire to abandon its network of Imperial academies that had been training Stormtroopers for decades, ever since the establishment of the Empire, meaning that as many Stormtroopers that were killed, there would be no brand new Stormtroopers to replace those officers, and the New Republic essentially defeated the Empire, allowing them to remain the Empire, but in a sense completely neutering their forces. However, the Battle of Jakku had truly been a part of Emperor Palpatine's contingency plan, a plan that he established if he were ever to be killed, and a plan that designated the complete and utter collapse of the Empire. As in Emperor Palpatine's mind, an empire that failed to protect its emperor, and as the emperor died, the Empire itself should be allowed to crumble and die for its failure. Comparing his contingency plan to a game of chess, if a king is lost in the game of chess, the game is over, and Palpatine desired to completely wash the board. The Sith Lord had ordered Gallius Rax to destroy the Empire if he ever died. While Rax's full plan was stopped by Grand Admiral Rey Sloane, Rax told her to complete the rest of the contingency by rebuilding the Empire in the unknown regions of space, something that Rey Sloane agreed with as Gallius Rax died, stopping him from utterly destroying the planet of Jakku and saving hundreds of thousands of lives, the lives of essentially the entirety of the Empire, or at least those that were not selected to travel to the unknown regions of space for thus unknown reasons. Following this great final battle, though, remnant Stormtroopers who were once soldiers of the Galactic Empire until their defeat at the Battle of Endor in 4 ABY caused the Empire to crumble into disarray. The Stormtrooper Corps all but ceased to exist, its pristine and uniform ranks reduced to a ragtag army of mercenaries for lawless gangsters in the galaxy, as well as warlords that mainly operated in the Outer Rim worlds of the galaxy, as the Stormtroopers were still a formidable force and a formidable army, but their numbers were severely reduced, as they met a similar fate to disgraced Mandalorians, again becoming mercenaries and guns for hire rather than servants of a great and powerful regime. Stormtroopers were officially banned by the treaty that occurred in 5 ABY, but some troopers opted to retain their battle-worn Stormtrooper armor while fighting for fragments of their former regime. Most of the Stormtroopers, though, at this time completely discarded their armor and again became mercenaries, using the skills that they had attained over the course of the Galactic Civil War to start new lives in the galaxy, while others, though, who had not been selected to travel to the unknown regions of space were fighting for fragments that still remained of the Empire, refusing to let go of what they had dedicated their entire lives to. Despite the newfound power in the galaxy, the New Republic completely outlawing them, with the tables in a sense completely being switched around, with once it being illegal for Jedi Knights to be in the galaxy and were ordered to be killed on sight. Now was the same for Stormtroopers, as the Jedi had returned and the New Republic had arisen, with Stormtroopers or any individual in Stormtrooper armor being ordered to be killed on sight. Thus, why in The Mandalorian we saw the Stormtroopers hiding out, unwilling to show their faces to the Republic even in the Outer Rim world. Although the Empire had fallen, its legacy endured in the mercenaries and warlords who were able to establish footholds on distant worlds, with what remained of the Empire clinging to what little power they had left. They mainly did this in the galaxy's Outer Rim territories, where the New Republic would not interfere. Yet their survival did not alter the reality of the era that they lived in. Many of the last true Imperial Stormtroopers that we will ever glimpse in the Star Wars universe appear in The Mandalorian, as again the show thus far has predominantly taken place in the Outer Rim territories of the Star Wars galaxy, and we're fully aware that these remaining Stormtroopers and this fragment of the Empire want to actually get what is known as the Child, or an infant from Yoda's species, for thus unknown purposes. We are aware that the Empire still has much power, with Death Troopers and other special squadron of troopers still remaining, but their power being nothing like it was before, with the Empire forced to hide in the Outer Rim territories, lest they be executed on sight. As we also learned from The Mandalorian, after the fall of the Empire, the innocence of the galaxy actually turned on the Stormtroopers themselves, as they did not require the go-ahead from the New Republic in order to execute the troopers who had been plaguing a lot of them for their entire lives, stealing from them and killing their friends and family. Therefore, without the aid of a larger empire, they were revolted against and killed, causing a ton of them to throw down their Stormtrooper armor and abandon the Empire entirely. The Imperial remnants that retreated to the unknown regions reorganized themselves into the First Order, being the only real successful fragmentation of the Empire that existed after the final Battle of Jakku. As the First Order outright defied the Galactic Concordance, the First Order recruited and mobilized new Stormtroopers in the galaxy, training them to be more aggressive and more efficient, with the First Order Stormtroopers clearly being far more dominant than the normal Stormtroopers. Although at first the First Order Stormtroopers were comprised of Stormtroopers that existed during the time of the Empire, this slowly changed, as the First Order began stealing infants from various worlds in the Outer Rim as well as the unknown regions of space, brainwashing them and training them from birth to become cold-hearted killers for the First Order, and fanatically loyal to the First Order's cause. The new Stormtroopers were influenced by the ideas of Brendol Hux, the father of General Hux, who was known as one of the strictest commanders on the original Imperial Academy. The First Order Stormtroopers were equipped with sleeker armor and more powerful weaponry. Among the Order's agents were Terex, who had served as an Imperial Stormtrooper originally, with the First Order gaining a new Emperor who had deemed themselves the Supreme Leader, in Supreme Leader Snoke, a new dominant Force wielder in the galaxy, as the First Order slowly but surely grew in power in the unknown regions of space, with the New Republic deeming them too far away to interfere, and too small of a threat. Little did they know they were growing more dominant and more powerful every single day, even completing a brand new super weapon that was originally started by the Empire in Starkiller Base, a super weapon that would one day spell the entire end of the New Republic. These new Stormtroopers would also gain a brand new Imperial Enforcer in the form of the fallen Jedi Ben Solo, now calling himself Kylo Ren, who was in fact the grandson of Darth Vader, the original Imperial feared Enforcer. With the First Order slowly gaining more power in the unknown regions of space, it appeared as if nothing would grow to stop them, until Leia Organa formed what she called the Resistance. But then begin the events of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. But that is the full story of the fate of the Imperial Stormtroopers after the collapse of the Galactic Empire on the Battle of Jakku. Beginning though after the first real collapse of the Empire and the death of their leaders in Darth Sidious and Darth Vader above Endor. But what are your guys' thoughts on the ultimate fate of the Stormtroopers? And as a big question question, after the rise of Skywalker, what do you think will be the final fate of the Stormtroopers? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the video, especially these longer-winded videos. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.